Today we're blind ranking top credit cards to find out which ones are actually worth getting and which ones are not. Starting off the list, we have the Capital One Venture X. The Venture X has a $395 annual fee, which is steep, but it's one of the few luxury cards that I would argue is almost always worth the price point. This card gets 2x points everywhere, so you can hold this card and this card only, but if you utilize the Capital One portal, you'll get 10x points on hotels and rental cars, 5x points on flights and vacation rentals, and 5x points on Capital One entertainment. But unless you're going on vacation every month, those extra multipliers don't really add up to much. The real case for this card is much simpler. Every year you own it, you'll receive $300 in Capital One travel credit. So that $395 fee essentially turns into a $95 fee before you've done anything else. And on top of that, you'll get 75,000 miles after spending $4,000 in the first 3 months, plus 10,000 miles on every anniversary, which is worth roughly another $100. So before you factor in any single other perk, you're essentially net positive. And my favorite part about this card is the lounge access every time you fly. You'll receive Priority Pass for free, which is basically a network of over 1,300 lounges across airports worldwide, which gets you food, drinks, and alcohol for no extra charge. This card also gives you access to 7 Capital One lounges, which I will show the locations of here. Even though these lounges are limited, they are some of the nicest ones out there and offer full bars, shower suites, fitness rooms, and fine dining. If you want to bring a guest, you'll have to pay $45 per person at Capital One lounges and $35 per person at Priority Pass lounges, which I'm personally not a fan of. But to help make up for it, you'll get a $120 TSA pre-check and global entry credit every 4 years. This alone will usually save you 20 minutes to over an hour and a half, depending on where and when you travel, which is an underutilized tool for many travelers, whether they have this card or not. I know this list is the top credit cards of 2026, and I don't know what's coming next, so I'm going to play it safe and put the Venture X in the second spot. Okay, next up we've got the Discover It Cashback. Now I have a hot take on the Discover It. It's a pretty common starter credit card, mainly because it's free and it has a 1% base earn, but Discover will choose 1 to 3 categories every 3 months to give you 5% back on. So for example, in January to March, it could be groceries, but then in April, it could be gas and public transit. However, your 5% cash back is capped after you spend $1,500 in those categories combined every quarter, which comes out to $75 max. Now, at the end of your first year, you'll get a bonus cashback match. So if you earned $100 in cash back over 4 quarters, then Discover will add another $100 on top of that. But this card is not widely accepted internationally, so I wouldn't recommend traveling with it. And to be completely open and honest here, I hate this card. I hate tracking categories that I don't even pick myself. I hate the $1,500 spending cap on the 5% categories, and the 1% base earn does not help its case. So same strategy here with the Capital One Venture X. I don't want to use the first and last spots just yet because we just started. I know it's a free card, but there are much better cards out there, so I think I'm going to put the Discover It in the 9th spot. Alright, next card is the Amex Gold. The Amex Gold is a very controversial card, and I myself have mixed feelings about it. These luxury Amex cards are essentially glorified coupon books, but they're some pretty damn good coupon books. The Amex Gold runs you $325 a year with a base earning rate of 1x points back, and in your first year, you'll earn up to 100k points after spending $8,000 in 6 months. But the best part of this card, in my opinion, is the 4x points on dining and at supermarkets, making this one of, if not the best food card on the market. You also get 5x back on prepaid hotels through Amex Travel, 3x on flights booked through Amex, and 2x on car rentals booked through Amex as well. Now that's great and all, but it's not necessarily enough to make up for the $325 annual fee, so here's why it becomes a glorified coupon book. You will receive a $120 credit for dining using Grubhub or dining at Buffalo Wild Wings, Five Guys, Cheesecake Factory, or Wonder. You'll also earn $120 in Uber Cash, $100 with Resy, and $84 with Dunkin' Donuts every year. Now those credits more than pay for the card itself, but that's way too much to keep track of, and I just don't want to spend $325 a year to have to track my yearly Cheesecake Factory spending. So even though it's a great card, I'm personally putting the Amex Gold in spot number 5. Alright, next card is the Capital One Savor. The Savor is an interesting card because it looks pretty basic and standard at first, but it gets really good in the places that matter. The base earn is only 1%, but for dining, groceries, and entertainment, you'll earn 3% back. And these categories matter more than many other categories because the average person spends $6,200 on groceries per year, $3,900 on dining, and $3,600 on entertainment. So earning 3% back on all of those categories for the average person saves them about $500 a year on its own, and the card is free. You'll also get a $250 bonus after spending $500 in 3 months, so even if you don't use this card for everyday spend, you can still pretty easily hit the bonus mark. You'll also earn 5% back on Capital One Travel, which isn't the best compared to other Capital One cards, but it's a good starting point to get into the Capital One ecosystem before you upgrade. But the one thing that could actually hurt you with this card is where you buy your groceries. The 3% back doesn't include Walmart or Target, and for some people that affects their entire grocery budget. So even with that considered, it's one of the best starter cards out there, so I'll put the Savor in spot number 4. Okay, interesting, the Amazon Prime Visa. The Prime Visa is kind of a weird one to rank because it can do a lot for you or absolutely nothing. You'll need a Prime subscription to apply for the card, which costs $139 a year, but there's a good chance that you already have one. The base earn is 1%, but the earn rates for Amazon, Audible, Amazon Fresh, and Whole Foods are all at 5%, and you can now earn a $200 Amazon gift card when you're approved for the card. Outside of that, you'll earn 7% back on Prime Day, 5% in the Chase Travel Portal, 2% at gas stations, 2% at restaurants, and 2% on local transit and commuting. I think that if you already have a Prime subscription and you shop at Whole Foods, then this card seems like a no-brainer. The only way I still wouldn't recommend applying for this card, if that applies to you, is if you plan on taking out a loan within the next year, because applying for any credit line will slightly drop your credit score and potentially increase the interest rates on other loans. I would also probably not use this as a daily card because there are better options out there for daily spend, but keeping the Prime Visa in your back pocket when you shop at Whole Foods and Amazon if you already have a subscription is just free money. So even though it's a good card, it's not the best fit for everybody, so I'm happy to put the Prime Visa in spot number 7. Okay, the Robinhood Gold. I'm actually a really big fan of this card for a few reasons. First of all, this is the only card in the entire world that gives you 3% back on everything, which is just insane. It's technically not free though. You'll need to hold a Robinhood Gold subscription, which costs $5 a month or $60 per year, but if you use your credit card for practically everything like me, it likely pays for itself and more. And if you have a Roth IRA with Robinhood Gold, they'll match 3% of your contributions every year. So if you max out your Roth IRA and invest $7,500, Robinhood will add another $225 on top of that. It's a better cashback than Travel Card in my opinion, but for 3% off every single purchase, it's one of the best cards you can get, which is why there's currently a waiting list to get it. People who got off the waiting list reported that they only did so when they opened up a Robinhood Gold account and put at least $1 in their spending account, but after they did that, they said they got the card pretty quick. So for the simplicity of the card and the unbeatable flat cash back rate, this card is number 1 in my opinion. Now we've got the Citi Double Cash. The Citi Double Cash doesn't do anything flashy, but that's what also makes it so strong for the average cardholder. You'll earn 2% back on every purchase and 5% on select hotels, car rentals, and attractions booked through the Citi Travel Portal. You'll also earn $200 after spending $1,500 in 6 months, which is very doable as well. And outside of that, there isn't much to this card. There is a 3% foreign transaction fee, so I wouldn't travel internationally, but 2% back everywhere means a lot, especially for a free card. You probably spend a lot more than you think on random categories that most credit cards don't reward you for, so if you want to have a free, simple credit card that you can use every day and not think twice about it, then this is a great card for you. Now, I think you can find better value elsewhere, but for the sheer simplicity and value of the double cash, I'm going to put it in number 6, which I think is fair. The Chase Sapphire Preferred. The Preferred is an interesting one right now because Chase just added and removed a lot from the card. The Sapphire Preferred costs $95 a year with a base earn of only 1x points on every purchase, but you will earn 5x on Chase Travel, 3x on dining, 3x on online groceries, 3x on streaming, and 2x on other travel. They just added 3x on gas and EV charging and 3x on vacation homes like Airbnb and Vrbo, and the sign-up bonus also increased to 100k points after spending 5,000 in 3 months, which is one of the best bonuses out right now. The hotel credit also increased to $100 a year, and you now receive a $120 credit towards TSA PreCheck and Global Entry. Now that's all great, but there are 2 distinct disadvantages that just took place. The 10% anniversary points bonus, which awarded you a 10% point bonus based on your total spend in the previous year, is being permanently discontinued. And more importantly, Chase used to transfer points to Hyatt at a 1-to-1 ratio, meaning 1,000 Chase points would become 1,000 Hyatt points. Hyatt points are considered to be among the most valuable in the world, but that ratio has now been devalued to 4-to-3, meaning 1,000 Chase points only yields you 750 Hyatt points. So for those who built their travel strategy around that transfer, then this card just became 25% less valuable. And even with the 3x on online groceries, Walmart and Target are not included. I don't shop for groceries online anyways, but that's another factor to consider. So yes, the new benefits are amazing, but the downsides matter a lot more than many people realize. So I think out of all of the options left, the Preferred slots in best in the 3rd spot. Ooh, okay, I might have messed up now. The Citi Strata Premier is a newer card, but there are a lot of mixed reviews on it already. It has a $95 annual fee with a base earn of 1x points per dollar spent, which isn't great. But that's not why you get the card. If you book a hotel stay worth $500 or more through Citi Travel, you get a $100 a year credit to go towards that expense, which pays for the card itself. So as long as you utilize that credit, then everything else is free money. The rewards are nice on this card, earning you 10x on hotels, car rentals, and attractions through the Citi Travel portal, 3x on flights and other hotels, 3x on dining, 3x on supermarkets, and 3x on gas. Dining, gas, and groceries are 3 of the highest spend categories for the average person, and this card covers all 3 with no limit. But unless you utilize your $100 hotel credit, then the $95 takes a big chunk out of those earnings. If you can commit to the hotel credit, then it's one of the strongest cards out there, but if not, you're only earning 1x points on a lot of your spending. So even though there is only 8 and 10 left and I messed up, I'll put the Citi Strata Premier at 8 because the list is ruined anyways, but it's definitely closer to an 8 than a 10. And finishing off this now messed up list, we have the Bilt Blue card. Bilt cards are some of the most interesting cards on the market right now because they are the only issuers that let you earn points on your rent. However, their reward structure is extremely complicated. If you go on their website, you'll see that you can earn up to 1.25x points when using the Bilt card for rent and mortgage payments. And on top of that, your Bilt card will act as a traditional bank account when you use it for your online rent payments, so you won't have to pay the traditional 3% credit card fee. But there is a catch here. It says up to 1.25x, not 1.25x. And if you read the fine print, you'll see that in order to unlock 1.25x points on your rent or mortgage payments, you have to spend at least the same amount as your housing payments as you do on other purchases. So if your rent payment is $2,000, you'll have to spend $2,000 on groceries or gas or everything else on top of that. So I'm happy putting the Bilt Blue in the 10th spot. Overall, I think I did pretty good. Outside of the Strata Premier, I'd probably put that in like the 5th or 6th spot, but let me know what personal finance related things you'd like me to blind rank next. Thank you, my friends, for watching, and I will see you next time.